My next question to you would be, about growing in-house leaders. You often say the world needs more listening and love, especially in high-performance corporate setting. So, what are the mechanisms you have in place to ensure that leadership potential identified during hiring is nurtured, retained, and further developed as individuals grow within the organization?
Yeah. So one, of course, is one element is nurturing and develop. The other element is evaluation. We'll keep the evaluation piece aside. Okay. But a lot of work we do in terms of nurturing. Okay? And the role that we see now that learning teams especially have is to ensure that or I would say the role is that of being a more of a facilitator and enabler of learning, rather than, of course, we also have specific learning programs. But leaders today basically have to have the ability to learn. And the role of the learning team is to ensure that you make that easier. So when we did a sort of a survey with our leaders, so we realized that in today's world, there's no dearth of learning sources.
Yeah.
If you take AI today, there is more than enough. What people want today to know is that, hey, what in my role and looking at my aspirations, what are those 2 or 3 things that I need to learn? And even if everybody needs to learn AI, what in AI that will be useful for me? Because the same thing will not be useful for everybody. And one role of the learning function and the leadership development function is to make that easy for your associates. So how do you help one make the right learning sources available to them so that they are not stuck in that maze of learning sources? Because today there is no dearth of learning sources. So how do you ensure that you curate the learning sources? And I'm not talking curate learning program, that is very low level. But how do you curate the right learning sources and create that right learning ecosystem for your learner? One would be learning. How do you then back it up with mentoring, back it up with coaching? Okay, because in today's world where there is very naturally a lot of focus on self-learning, we go for various reasons. One, the skills have become so diversified. Two, the shelf life of skills has become much shorter.
Right.
And the needs are just evolving very rapidly. So in that, 5 years back, nobody knew about Gen AI. Nobody talked about Gen AI. Forget 3 years back, nobody talked about that. Till last year, nobody was talking agentic AI. Okay. Suddenly now everybody is talking agentic AI. We don't know what they will talk next year. Okay. And how things will go. AGI probably, and we don't even know what will be needed as we get into AGI and things like that. So what to learn will continue to evolve. How do you create an ecosystem where the leader, depending upon her or his need, can go and be able to get it from the right source, the right thing? And if they're not sure, how can you provide the necessary mentoring and coaching to help them identify the right learning and resolve that query? I think that is what is the role of the learning function, and that's where we are trying to build. So that overall, how do you end up creating a learning culture where it becomes easier for your leader to learn what they want to learn? Okay? Because it's very difficult now to create learning paths and dictate to them or prescribe to them what they need to learn. That's becoming increasingly difficult. So you provide an ecosystem, and then they will learn what they need to learn.
Yeah, I completely see where you're coming from, which is why I mentioned, right, that you mentioned that the world needs more listening. We often hear from the talent pool talking that nobody listens to us. We have ideas, but there is no way we are able to express ourselves. So this thought of yours kind of resonated, so I thought, let me mention that. Okay.
Well, I think listening is very important. I just spent a
yes.
And that is
Absolutely.
where I think whether it is for the leaders, whether it is for the HR, whether it is for the learning manager, it's very important to listen to the needs of each other. Okay.
Yeah.
And rather than coming up from the mindset that I know what you need, and here is what, and that is why I am telling you this. I think those days are gone. Those days are gone, and that's why very important at that level.
Right. I hear leaders say that, putting yourself in somebody else's shoes and
Very
to understand what pain the person is going through. Yeah. So empathy, I mean, the fundamental of the first stepping stone of empathy to me would be, you listen to and listen and look at the body language of your team members, what they are trying to express. Sometimes they don't open up, they don't talk about their environment, what they are going through, but as a leader you want to empathize with them, you need to talk to them, you need to to build relationship, reaching out, talking to them individually is imperative, isn't it?
absolutely. And I think you talked about getting into somebody else's shoes, and you talked about listening to them. But if you
Yes,
want to get into somebody else's shoe, the first step
you have
is
to
to get
remove.
out of your own shoe. Okay. If I listen to them thinking I know the answer, then I'm not really listening to them because I'm only listening to those instances which match with the answer I want to give. And
Exactly.
for leaders, when they listen, it's very important to leave behind their expert knowledge at that time when they are listening. Once they have understood, then probably they can bring in their solutioning expertise. But while you are listening, it's very important that you step out of your shoe first. You keep your ideas of what the person should be doing or what the person should not be doing, or what is the right way of doing. It's very important that you keep that away and listen. Because if you, I've seen many leaders listen, but listen knowing the answer, and they're just waiting for an opportunity so that they can give their answer. Okay, I think that is something that leaders have to be very wary of.